Hey guys, my name is Ben Stewart. Today we're going through the first episode of Training Essentials. We're going to be looking at lower back training, going through 3 different movement patterns: mobility, stretching, strengthening. Before you do, if you are suffering from any kind of lower back, please go and make sure you're checked out by a GP, medical professional, physiotherapist. Make sure you're clear to do this sort of stuff beforehand. So here are the titles of each section we're going to be through and a little timestamp underneath each one, so you can be fast forwarding straight to the part you're in need of. Okay guys, the first thing we're going to be doing is getting moving. So mobility based drills for your lower back and hips. Okay, so the first movement pattern we're going to be doing is a cat-cow movement. So as you can see, on your hands and knees, and we're working through a full range of our spine. Up and down, working through from our hips and rotating up and through, but also pushing through your shoulder blades. You see it on this side angle here. Very, very good. Make sure we're breathing through this. So I normally like to breathe in as I'm arching up, so into there, and then breathing out as I'm coming through. And obviously looking up and through this movement pattern as well, and making sure we're squeezing our abdominals and our glute muscles as we're doing this. We then move on to that second exercise. So we're going to start off into this child's pose position, and then working down, pushing our hips down towards the floor, looking up towards the ceiling. As you can see, my toes are sort of pointing downwards, untucked. And on this position, as we're arching our back, just take it steady, easing through the movement on each side. You might find that you need to just tone this back a little bit, which is absolutely fine. Working around a fixed hand position, so you can see my hands aren't moving, but I'm working. I'm really trying to push away. So as I'm coming down to here, and then pushing my hips down and through my chest, through my hands as I'm coming up there. It's really, really good one. Gets that lower back moving in many different directions. We are then going to come on to our third exercise. So we're into this kneeling position, and we're going to rotate and then side bend to our strong side. The strong side is the side that your leg is forward on. That's quite important. We're trying to curve our spine to the side here. So as you look at me front on, I'm trying to get into a nice almost banana shape as I'm leaning and then rotating around. I like to really try and look over my shoulder just to encourage as much side rotation as I can through this range of movement. We'll then switch and do everything on the opposite side. Just taking your time, working through this. Shouldn't be any pain. You should feel this kind of through your lower back, your mid back, just as much as the front of your hips almost, and maybe a little bit into your glutes, but it's an absolutely brilliant stretch to work on here. And then I think we're coming down into our final movement, and this is a brilliant low impact one. You can be doing this morning and night, and it's just some knee rolls, nice and steady, nice and easy. Great mobility drills. You can see me looking to the opposite side again as I'm working through this. I think the camera pans around in a second. We can see that my feet do stay together. So knees and ankles really locked into position. And that's going to allow me to really get as much rotation through the top leg as possible as we're rotating. Just hold it for a second on each side before we then rotate and move over to the opposite side. There's your full mobility drill, guys. Check it out. Enjoy. Okay guys, so the next part is going to be get stretching. We need to be holding these flexibility drills for about 20 to 30 seconds. 4 of them. Check it out. Okay, so we're now into our stretch position. I'm not going to talk too much through this. I just want to explain each stretch as we go and then let you hold it as we come into it. But this first one is a crucifix stretch. So we're going to kick one leg over and just holding in almost like this 90-degree position. You can see I'm actually quite tight and restricted in this position. So my right leg that's on the floor pointing straight is actually not straight. We really want to try and get that to the floor and kick over with that left leg. You can see on this angle here as well, my left shoulder really wants to be trying to push down. I am actually working quite hard to push that arm down and come through. As we're easing out of it, we're going to rotate the legs around, bringing the feet together before kicking the opposite leg over. Same idea, you want to hold this into a pain-free position, so it shouldn't be any more discomfort than what you're used to in your lower back, and it certainly shouldn't be getting worse when you're working through this. Breathing through it, letting your spine rotate as we finish up for this stretch. We're now going to come into the second stretch. This is just some really simple knee hugs. You can see I'm trying to lift my shoulder blades, my head up off the floor as I'm working through, and I'm going to breathe and hold into this nice curl up position. We're then going to release just one leg, nice and slowly. I'm going to try and straighten down one leg and bring my nose, my chin right up towards your knee if you can. And if you can't, just trying to stay in that curved position as much as you can. It's going to really get that stretch through the glute. There's a little tweak there, a little change. I'm going to try and pull my left knee over towards my right shoulder. So I'm not trying to head it to my nose and chin. It's over to my opposite shoulder. I'm just going to hold and breathe into this position before then switching and repeating on that opposite side. So again, left leg's now down nice and straight, bringing my nose towards my right knee. I'm going to hold it nice and strong there. Before then, moving the right knee over to the left shoulder and holding that position. Really trying to keep the shoulder blades and head up off the floor as much as you can throughout the whole of this stretch. Next position is actually onto our front. So we're going to lay face down. I'm going to look to my right and then use my right leg. Very, very similar to the crucifix stretch on the start here. This is called a scorpion stretch. You're going to feel this through your left shoulder and arm, but also the rotation through our spine is absolutely essential, super safe, and you're going to get a stretch right through your abdominals. That's the front of our stomach and our hips. And again, I'm rotating round, feet together, looking to the opposite side as I kick and rotate over again. But yeah, into that lower back position, absolutely essential to kind of feel like we're rotating both ways from the previous crucifix stretch to how we are now in this scorpion stretch. And then we're just going to kick legs round together and release. We're back into a kneeling position for this final position here, very similar to that first one. We're going to push our body forwards, hold, and then breathe. This is going to be a stretch for the front of our thighs and up into our hips again. Really, really nice position. And then I'm going to straighten my front leg and try and push that knee straight into the floor and reach down towards my ankle. Now, say towards it, you might find that you can only get down to your half calf position, half lower leg, and then we switch into that opposite side. So again, we're looking at just pushing forward from our hips, weight nice and strong, keeping it sturdy, easing through there. And as we then come back into it, pushing my right leg down straight and down towards the foot. Now, try not to hold on to yourself, but if you do find you are a bit unstable or even sore, you can do that. Okay, so the final part of our lower back care is some loaded exercises, just nice and simple, 4 exercises, check them out. Okay, so we're now going to start taking on some strength training here. So we're going to try and load the muscles and start getting them to activate. First one, really nice and straightforward, is a bridge. This is working through our lower back, our glutes and the hamstrings. They're all the muscles down the back of our legs and the thighs. And we're going to try and have our feet shoulder width apart. And as I'm lifting my hips up here, I'm pushing really hard into my heels. My hands are across my chest. If you find this too difficult, you can have your hands down by your side. But this is going to start really bracing your lower back area and working through. Very quickly, we're onto our front. Now, this is a really kind of impacted exercise, working your lower back muscles, doing the job they're actually designed to do. Our lower back is trying to help us stand up. So in this face down position, it's a very safe position to try and lift our head and shoulder blades up. You'll see my toes are tucked. I personally prefer this for this movement pattern, but a very, very safe position for you to be in. We then come into a plank next. Really, really good. And this is important because we've not just done the bridge and then the back extension on the previous 2 exercises. We're now holding all of these muscles really strong. You see from this angle, everything's in a nice straight line. Shoulders, hips, knees and heels. And I'm bracing my core. I'm always trying to bring my belly button in towards my stomach. I'm trying to tuck my ribs in towards my chest as well, which is really important. As we're coming onto our side on our final exercise, This is a side plank pole. So we're working through the side of our core and our lower back muscles here that are very, very susceptible to a bit of pain. And we're trying to basically bring our ribs in towards our hips and squeeze. I'm meant to be squeezing my hips straight up towards the ceiling and pushing away there. If you do happen to have any shoulder issues when you're doing this, definitely just make sure your elbow's directly under your shoulder. If you feel like that is then too easy, you can then start pushing through. But yeah, keeping your chest facing forward, squeezing into your ribs hard as we're working through this movement.